good morning and a big round of applause for everyone over here that we are coming over here and attending it on a Sunday morning. Okay, wonderful. So today I am okay. So there is just a second. Toastmaster Monish, I request you to please do some. I mean, everyone can unmute themselves. A bit settings, yeah. Thank you. Okay. So today the theme. Did you went through what is the theme for today? Everyone is checking their phones. Congratulations. Okay. So today's theme is 18, 21, 66, 254. How many days? Any guesses what it can be? What we will be discussing today? Any guesses?
Journey.
Yeah. Can I tell you?
No.
Yeah, Kanika, it is the number of days representing to build up any skill.
Very close to it.
Yeah, to be, I mean, the similar only like how many days it takes to be a great speaker or a great Toastmaster.
Oh, nice. Okay, so today the theme is about developing habits that we want to, but we get different theories on different places, different books, Google. Everyone tells us very different how many days it takes for us to develop a habit. 18, 21, 66, 254. Can you imagine 254 days to develop one habit? Is this true or is this not? I will be taking you on this journey today, and we will be discovering how to develop a habit, not just counting the days, but by ourselves. So moving on to further, today the Toastmasters meeting is divided into 3 sections. The very first is the prepared speeches section, the second is the table topic session, and the third is the journal evaluation section. But today we are having a slight change in it. First, the prepared speeches section. Then we are having evaluation module by our distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik Bhattacharya. And then we will be having the evaluation section. And I would request everyone to please attend it and take your pen and papers and note down everything, because evaluation contest is approaching really very soon and we all will be taking part in it. Okay. So now I would request the journal evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Shweta, to please come on to the stage and help everyone understand what the GE section will be all about. And about telling about Toastmaster Shweta, she is a spiritual soul who is a PhD and a budding entrepreneur in nanotechnology, a motivational mentor. She loves to travel, she loves to read, write poems, and she's also an NLP practitioner and an adventurous soul. So with a big round of applause, please help me welcome Toastmaster Shweta.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, and good morning, everyone. I hope you all are smiling, even when the cameras are not on. So let's see. I will be evaluating the meeting in general, which will be divided into 3 parts. That will be first would be the evaluations of the prepared speeches. Second would be the evaluations by my team. That would be the tag team, timer, AHA counter, and the grammarian. And the third would be I will be evaluating the meeting in general, what went well and what could be improved. So first, let me introduce the team I have, because as I always say, alone we can do so little and together we can do so much more. So the timer of the day, first I would like to thank our president that he took the role at the last minute. The timer of the day is TMOD, who is a banker turned digital marketer, copywriter, health coach, and he loves mobile games like War Robots whenever he's free. So kindly come on the virtual stage, and introduce your role, please.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, ma'am. And being the role of timer, my role is to tell you how much time you took. And let me just share my screen. Okay, you all can see the green. Can you all confirm?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the time allotted for speakers are 5 to 7 minutes, and for the first speaker, Toastmaster Mohit, it is 2 to 3 minutes for two speeches. So at 5 minutes, I'll be showing my green screen. At 6 minutes, I'll be showing my yellow screen. At 7 minutes, I'll be showing my red screen. So there will be 30 seconds of grace period on the upper end. For And for evaluator, it is 2 to 3 minutes. The time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. We are not having table topic session today. And that's all from my side. Thanks. And over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining your role so beautifully. And now moving on, the next role player is AHA Counter. So that would be played by TM Kuljit Singh. Let me introduce him. He has completed his master's in accounts and finance from Symbiosis University, and he has more than 8 years of experience in multinational organizations. Apart from study and job, he is involved in stock market as well. So we welcome you. Kindly come on virtual stage and explain your role.
Yes. Thanks, Toastmaster Shweta. So good morning, everyone. So I think most of you already aware about that. This is going to be my very first time that I'm playing any kind of role in Toastmaster Club. So I was really excited, and I am really excited for this, as I was got a message that a couple of days before that we like to play any kind of role in upcoming meeting. So I said yes, I would love to play any role. So here I am with AS Counter. So let me put some light on AS Counter's roles responsibilities. So as AS Counter, I will notice the words that all speakers use as pause filler, right? And apart from that, I will also listening to your speeches while you using a single word multiple times, right? And apart from that, I also notice the long pauses that you use while you're speaking. And at the end of this meeting, I will generate a report. I will publish a report and tell you that how many times you use these kind of expressions during your speeches. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, TM Kuljit, for explaining your role. And moving on, we have the grammarian of the day, who is played by TM Lakshit, who loves to think about science stuff related to astrology, biology, chemistry, and he loves to watch movies and Netflix series and read comics. He has a bachelor's degree in economics and preparing for exams so that ultimately he can also have a bachelor degree in physics. So welcome TM Lakshit, and kindly come on virtual stage and explain your role, please.
Thank you, TM Shweta. Hello and good morning, everyone. I am Lakshit Gupta, and I love universe and every unique existence in it. Today, I will be playing the role of grammarian. My job is to pay close attention to the use of the language and to provide you with the word of the day. The word of the day is quotidian. Let me repeat it again. Quotidian, which is an adjective and can also be used as a noun, and it means occurring every day, something that is occurring every day, daily, day to day. Let me give you an example. Quotidian tasks of a company is to make sure that a company runs smoothly. Now, I will encourage all of you to use this word as frequent as possible you could in this meeting, and I will count how often it was used by each speaker. I will provide my report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, TM Shweta.
Thank you for giving us the word of the day, and I would urge everyone to use it as and when possible. And now I would be providing my report at the end of the meeting whenever prompted by the Toastmaster of the day. So back to you, TM Kanika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shweta, for explaining what the GE section will all be about. So now moving on to the very first section, and that is the prepared speeches section that we eagerly wait for in every meeting. So today, our very first speaker is Toastmaster Mohit Sahani. And before welcoming him, I will be calling out his evaluator to state the objectives of Toastmaster Mohit's speech. And his evaluator is Toastmaster Vishal. So Toastmaster Vishal is in the business of designer metal sheets for the past 2 decades. He is the founder of the brand Ferroride, which deals in designer metal sheets for elevation, facade, and interiors, and also utilizing the sheets for making the products that are novel in nature. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Vishal to explain the objectives of Toastmaster Mohit's speech.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kanika, for the wonderful introduction. So today, Mr. Mohit Sahani will delivering his speech. The project of the speech is like engaging humor, and the project is level 4, project 1. And there is a little bit of twist in the speech. Mr. Mohit Sahani will deliver 2 speeches, and that would be also like an impromptu speech. The topic will be given by the Toastmaster of the day, ma'am. And each speech stands from 2 to 3 minutes. And the timer, please make a note for that each speech will take time from 2 to 3 minutes. And the purpose of the speech is that the purpose of this project is for you to develop your method for giving impromptu speeches and practice adapting rehearsed stories during a presentation. That's great. And the stage is all yours, Toastmaster Mohit Sahani.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vishal, for stating the objectives. Now, everyone, please help me welcome Toastmaster Mohit Sahani, and he is an IT project manager by profession and a coach by passion. He is also an avid blogger who loves to blend his work and personal life in his writings, and also he is the division director of Division G. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Mohit Sahani. And your very first topic, Toastmaster Mohit, are you ready?
Yes, Kanika.
Wonderful. So your very first topic is, your company has just announced a merger and you are asked to share a few words about the benefits of change.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kanika. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, guests, friends. How are you doing today? Let me ask you a simple question. How many of you live in an ancestral house? Some of you live in an ancestral house, right? And you have a lot of memories attached to it. You played when you were a little child in the little garden outside your ancestral house. You have your uncles and aunts, your grandparents, all the emotions attached to it. Let's say that an ancestral house is worth 1 crore and I offer you 1.25 crores. Would you sell it? Maybe not, because you have all those memories attached to it and it's not worth selling it. What if I offer you 1.5 crores? Some of you are changing your minds. What if I offer you 2 crores? Okay, 3, 4, 5 crores. Now you will say that, okay, we can always have a photo album where we can cherish those old memories. But 5 crores is an offer that is not worth giving up. for this ancestral house. I'm sure all of you will go ahead and sell it out. That's exactly what has happened to us today, my friends. Our company has decided to sell out and enter into a merger. Now, you may be a little worried about what it means for you, whether you will lose your job or whether you'll be handed over a pink slip. Let me tell you and assure you, nothing of that is going to happen as long as you put in your best efforts. And just like we sold our ancestral house worth 1 crore for 5 crores, maybe 5 times the price, we will once again start this journey and make much more, not only for the company, but for each one of you. So let's stick on the journey and let's be together and let's continue to work the way we were always doing to make many more successes come for us. Thank you and wish you good luck. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, so thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. So your next topic.
Toastmaster Kanika, just 1 second. I was not able to see the timer. I am.
Yes, actually, he just showed the green card when you ended.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Sure.
So your next topic is the worst news possible has just been given to a gathering of friends and family. You're asked to speak to the group to give words of hope and support. Over to you, Toastmaster Mohit.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kanika. Hello, all. I know this is one of those times when we've been given a bad news. And it's when there is something like that which happens, we all tend to imagine the worst situation. It looks like this is the end of the world. But you know what? It is times like these when we are given a chance to reflect and think about changing the course of our lives. I'm reminded at this time of a person who I consider my ideal. He's Sam Cathon. And in one of the Toastmasters meetings, he had shared his own story with us. Sam Cathon was like you and I. He was living an ordinary life in an ordinary house and doing an ordinary job. And one day, when he was driving down to his work, something happened that changed his life. He had put his car on cruise control and he didn't realize when he dozed off. And the next thing he heard was bang! His car had collided into a truck and he almost died. It was a miracle that he survived, but he lost an arm and a leg. He was in the hospital for months. And during the time he was in the hospital, those 6 months in the hospital, when he was telling his friends who would come to visit him the stories of how all that happened, it is only then that he realized that he has a gift. He realized that he has a gift of storytelling. He realized that he could be a great speaker. And today, Sam Cathon has written several books. He has spoken to audiences of tens of thousands of people. He has given an example. He's a living example that life may bring us difficulties, but it is only God's way of telling us that there is something better in place for us. I like to remind you of a poem which I truly love, and I would like to recite it for you. It says, April showers may come your way, but they bring flowers which bloom in May. So when it's raining, have no regrets, because it's raining, not rain, it's raining violets. Thank you. I would like to pass it back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Kanika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. It was wonderful listening to you. And now it's time for the feedback. So I would request everyone to please provide feedback to Toastmaster Mohit. And timer, please note for the time, it's just 1 minute. I mean, we really enjoyed the slightest change which we had today, giving an impromptu speech on the spot, like on 2 topics. You are lucky.
Yeah, it gave me sleepless nights though, but I did it. I'm happy I did it.
Yes.
Moisture, you can be invisible again. The light is.
So, Toastmaster Mohit, how many feedbacks did you receive? On WhatsApp? On
Just two at the moment.
Okay, so I would request everyone to please provide the feedback. Okay, the timer, please let us know that if 1 minute is over.
Yes, 1 minute is over.
Okay, wonderful. So I would request everyone to please giving feedback to Toastmaster Mohit for his wonderful speech. And now moving on to the next speaker, it's Toastmaster Rohan. Before calling on the speaker Toastmaster Rohan, I will be calling up his evaluator to state the speech objectives of Toastmaster Rohan's speech. It's Toastmaster Mohinish. So Toastmaster Mohinish is a banker turned digital marketer, a copywriter, and a health coach. And he loves playing mobile games like War Robots when he is free. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Mohinish to explain the objectives of Toastmaster Rohan's speech.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kanika. And Toastmaster Rohan would be delivering his speech 1 of level 1 project 2. The pathway is strategic relationship. This project objectives are for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and then apply that speech on the second speech. Apply the feedback on the second speech. Best of luck, and over to you, Toastmaster Kanika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohinish. Now, everyone, please help me welcome Toastmaster Rohan Gupta, who is an accidental chemical engineer from HPTI Kanpur, worked in R&D department as a research scientist for 2.5 years, and he is currently preparing for GRE. He loves to travel. He is a movie buff, an Iron Man fan, badminton, cricket, passionate learner, and a bit spiritual as well. So, everyone, please help me welcome Toastmaster Rohan. Why I consider women as superhuman? Why I consider women as superhuman? Toastmaster Rohan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kanika, for the introduction. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Now, before I start, let me ask you a question. That what is the first quality that comes into your mind when I say the word woman? WOMAN. Starting from Munisa. So what is the first quality that comes into your mind that when I say the word woman?
I would say gentle, like mother.
Nice. Moisa?
Multitasker. Super multitasker.
Super multitasker, right. Sanjeev sir?
Yeah, I'll say great patience and great energy.
Right. Vishal sir, would you like to add some?
Sir, please tell me what was your question. Sorry, I missed that.
So what is the quality that comes into your mind when I say the word woman?
Woman is very powerful.
Right. Okay. Now, when I ask this question to myself, I would say that women are great communicators. I think they are born with this skill, and this skill helps them to get rid of unnecessary communication gaps, grudges, personal and professional issues. Now, you all know that communication plays a huge role in the success of our life, in our career life. Now, when I joined this Toastmaster Club, now this is the reason that I have joined this Toastmaster Club to enhance my communication skills and so much. Now, when I joined this Toastmaster Club, now, here what I found a considerable number of amazing ladies who are doing their jobs, some are doing their internship, and some are preparing for some competitive exams. And they are also maintaining a good balance between their personal and professional lives very beautifully and responsibly. Now, let's move to three various reasons that support my statement of my speech. Starting with the very important one, and this is very close to my heart, that women carry the gift of life. Now, this responsibility of giving and nurturing a new life form is provided to the women by the God. Now, the God has chosen women to carry this gift of life. Now, no matter how far technology have reached, we will never able to create an artificial being in the near future. Now, another factor which indicates women as superhuman that they have remarkable, strong willpower. I'm sure you all are thinking that how women have this strange quality. Now, working throughout the day, engaging in quotidian household activities, and to raising children, women know how to maintain an excellent balance between all spheres of life. And let's not forget the inappropriate comments, physical and mental torture they tolerate every single day of their life. All this and still manage to come out of it at the top anyway. Now, the last factor which I feel most of the members present here will agree on this, that women are natural managers and better leaders. Now, let me tell you why. Now, women consider their career as an integral part of their overall life. To them, factors like job satisfaction, quality of relationship with their colleagues, office environment, work-life balance become just as important as the money they earn in return for the service. Now, the core of all these qualities comes from a very special one, that is empathy. Now, women's empathetic nature enables them to make them a life nurturer, build stronger willpower, and become better managers and leaders. Now, these women display such unique characteristics which makes them better individuals as compared to men. No offense to the men here. Now, the sacrifices they make, the hardships they face on a daily basis is truly remarkable. The world continues to act unjust with them, chain them, restrict them, but they still determine to succeed in all spheres of life, no matter how overwhelming the challenge may be. Let me give you an example. Now, the women have faced a lot of challenges, right? From they are restricted from their voting rights, right? And they are not allowed to get outside their homes. So these are the challenges they have come through across. Now the time has come that they have moved through all these challenges and they are doing a big in their life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rohan. It was a wonderful speech. I mean, the way you expressed your thoughts on women. So now it's time for the feedback. So I would request everyone to please provide Toastmaster Rohan with feedback. And there is a 1 minute time for the same.
One minute over.
Thank you so much. Okay, so moving on to our next speaker, that is Toastmaster Deeptendu, we will be listening to him after really very long. So now before calling on Toastmaster Deeptendu, please help me welcome the evaluator, that's Toastmaster Sanjeev. Toastmaster Sanjeev is the immediate past president of TMWD. He is the telecom industry veteran, having worked in global organizations like Bharti and Ericsson. Currently, he is a budding investor with an interest in stock markets and startups. He is leveraging his corporate experience to guide the youth to develop their professional skills, and he's passionate about traveling, exploring nature and cuisines around the world. So, please help me welcome Toastmaster Sanjeev to explain the objective of Toastmaster Deeptendu's speech.
Thank you, Kanika, for such a wonderful introduction. So, Toastmaster Deeptendu will be delivering first elective of his level 3 project, and it's related to storytelling. So, he has to show storytelling as a concept in his speech, either practice using it within the speech or give his speech that is a story itself. I wish all the best to Toastmaster Deeptendu, and he has specifically requested me to rate the speech on the entertaining capacity of his speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Kanika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sanjeev. Now, please help me welcome Toastmaster Deeptendu, who is a telecom domain professional with a keen interest in writing and music. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Deeptendu, Dissecting Faces. Dissecting Faces, Toastmaster Deeptendu.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Do you know that Rohan was a man with incredible powers of observation and deep sensitivity? He would enter into a restaurant, scan the waiters, staff, and cook, and then decide whether or not to eat at that place. He could see through the smile of the restaurant staff and refused to eat at a place where he didn't feel that the staff was happy. He said, a waiter harboring negative energies like sadness, depression, or anger would transmit the same to me through food. That's how Rohan was. Rahul, on the other hand, was an explorer, an adventurer. He used to say that I have come from the streets and reached the palaces. Nothing can destroy me. He enjoyed fine wines at five-star hotels as much as he enjoyed having a tea and cigarette from roadside stall on a rainy day. That's how Rahul was. Fate brought Rahul and Rohan together at Hotel 4 Points by Sheraton, located near Wall Street in downtown New York. They were sitting in the lobby of the hotel and were stuck there because the entire New York City was covered in a thick blanket of snow, and snowstorm was fast approaching the city. Bad weather meant that people had to stay indoors wherever they were until the snowstorm passed by. Rohan and Rahul were seduced by each other's strong and interesting personas and started talking. Rahul shared how he and his parents could not afford even 2 proper meals a day. They had to bear the cold weather because of lack of proper heating, despite his father and mother working as hard as they could, as diligently as they could. Rahul still managed to scrape through the public school system and got an admission in New York University on scholarship, where he studied finance. Rahul went on to work in an investment banking firm and also got married. Up until this point, Rohan was moved and in fact inspired by Rahul's story of perseverance. But as Rahul started sharing about his professional life, Rohan realized that he was being sucked into a dangerous game where he might reluctantly have to take action. Rahul continued. He shared that he was recently made the CEO of a mid-tier investment banking firm at Wall Street, and that the previous CEO was serving a 10-year sentence in New York State Jail on charges of insider trading. Rahul confided in Rohan, saying that the world of investment banking was so brutal and so competitive that staying high was almost a necessity to survive the professional rigors of the job. The ever so observant Rohan knew that vices inevitably lead to bad decisions and dangerous behaviors. Rohan was carefully studying the facial expressions of Rahul and trying to figure out the mind of the superachiever he was talking with. Something told Rohan that Rahul's ambition had turned from pure to poisonous. And now it was Rohan's turn to subtly cross examine Rahul. Rohan brought up the emotional subject of relationships with Rahul. As it turns out, love marriages in the westernized society of America also have issues related to intimacy and compatibility. On prodding Rahul about his closest friends, Rahul mentioned that Jennifer was one of her best friends in the world. As soon as Rahul mentioned Jennifer, a picture started to form in Rohan's head. You see, Rohan was not just an observant man. He was also a paralegal at a law firm in New York and studied multiple legal cases on a daily basis. Now, if you are thinking, why was Rohan, this observant guy, just a paralegal and not a full-fledged lawyer? For that, I will need 5 to 7 minutes more. I hope the VP Education is listening to me carefully. Rohan then recalled reading about Ron, CEO of Stalwart Investing, getting jailed for insider trading, and that Ron and Jan were famous at most exclusive parties of New York City. Rohan had also observed during his stint in the US that Indians usually don't shorten American names because we are comfortable with pronouncing such names, while Americans do shorten Indian names due to difficulty in pronunciation. It did not take long for Rohan to deduce that Rahul's Jennifer was actually Ron's Jan, and that Rahul was having an affair with Jennifer. Rahul started getting uncomfortable with this turn of events, as he could see Rohan coiling around him with the grip of a python ready to swallow him whole. But you know Rahul, he believed that nothing could destroy him, Rohan explicitly accused Rahul of planting incriminating documents in Ron's home with Jennifer's help that resulted in Ron's conviction. Well. Rahul came back with a swift retort to Rohan's accusation. Rahul revealed that Jennifer was seeing someone else and her photos with her new boy toy were splashed on page 3 of New York Times. Now tell me, what is happening here? Was Rahul a culprit who had escaped punishment? Did Jennifer con both Ron, her husband, and Rahul? Did Ron deserve to get jailed? Was Rohan, the unlikely paralegal, really just a paralegal? You know, friends, Rohan believed that one who did not get the opportunity to cheat is honest, and one who did not get the opportunity to commit a crime is innocent, while Rahul believed that one whose cheating did not get caught is honest, and one whose crime did not get caught is innocent. The story I narrated today is an attempt at putting a philosophical question out there. Who is innocent? Who is a culprit? I think in today's times, honesty needs to be proved in order for one to be declared innocent. The story I shared with you all today is loosely based on the recently released movie Chehre, starring Amitabh Bachchan and Imran Hashmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deeptendu, for a wonderful speech. So I would request everyone to please provide feedback to Toastmaster Deeptendu.
अभी डिस्क्वालीफाई हुए या बच गए? अब थोड़ा चाय पीना पड़ेगा. बाय.
टीएम Deeptendu जानने के लिए देखिए जनरल इवैल्यूएशन पार्ट.
I had to entertain you guys. Now I am getting nervous. Damn it.
But before that, you will get to know right now, because we will be doing the voting for the speakers right now. Relieved. I would request
Thank you, Kanika, for the help then.
Yeah. I would request everyone to please provide the feedback to Toastmaster Deeptendu. Toastmaster Deeptendu, how many feedbacks have you received?
I have not received any feedback as of now.
TMWD, what is this?
And that's a teacher's tone.
Right.
One minute is over.
Okay, so Toastmaster Deeptendu, how many feedbacks have you received?
Yeah, I got 2 feedbacks. 3. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Okay, please keep on sending the feedbacks either on WhatsApp, on chat, or anywhere where you are comfortable. So, Toastmaster Mohinish, can we do the voting for the speakers?
Yep, unfortunately, Deeptendu missed it by almost 10 seconds. So I'm launching the poll for best speakers.
Everyone, please vote for the best speaker.
I can't vote because I'm the co-host.
Yes, me too. It's okay.
You can send me your votes.
Okay, I will.
On chat.
So I hope that we are done with voting.
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So moving on to, so what is the next part of today's meeting? Earlier we used to have table topics. What is today?
Evaluation module.
Ooh, oh yes, on spot, Madam GE. So now we are having evaluation section by distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik Bhattacharya. So can we have you on virtual stage, please? Toastmaster distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik Bhattacharya. Hello, hi. Okay, so now we are having the evaluation section. Since the contest also is approaching, now it's my pleasure to introduce Distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik. Distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik is a computer engineer, poet, an author, anchor, public speaker with more than a decade of experience in MNCs. He loves to pen his thoughts in verses and has published book to his credit. Now he has also been the national debate champion and he loves anchoring events. He has anchored and organized many corporate events, including celebrity performances featuring Benny Dayal, Shalmili, and Jonita Gandhi, and so on. The list goes on. In Toastmasters, Distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik has been the District 41 finalist in multiple speech contests and is a past District 41 evaluation speech contest champion. Currently, he is the club growth director of District 41, and in the past, he has been the district PR manager and assistant club growth director, and also as a president distinguished division director. So now please help me welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik Bhattacharya onto the virtual stage with a big round of applause. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Madam ADPRM Toastmaster Kanika Sharma, fellow leaders of Toastmasters of West Delhi and members from District 41 who are here today. Very good morning and bright Sunday awaits us, and I'm sure that this will be a great day for all of us. Today we're here to discuss about evaluations, and when we talk about evaluations and how we are going to talk about evaluations, what is the difference between an evaluation in a contest setup and a club setup and certain other things. Before I start that, I would request all of you, and I say this at the beginning of all of my workshops and sessions, that the collective knowledge of a particular room or the right room is always greater than any individual. So please feel free to share your thoughts, questions, and anything that you would like to add through the process of the discussion, and at the end in the question answer segment, so that we can collectively learn and grow from each other. So, all right. Thank you so much. So what is evaluation? When we look at evaluation, the word itself kind of defines what it expects of the person who is evaluated. So if we start off, I would say that E is the emotional connect in the evaluation. So when a speaker or when any person is doing a job, they are investing time, they're investing effort, and they are investing their patience, their concentration, and a lot of things. Similarly, when a speaker is delivering a speech or an audience member is listening to the speech, they are involved in the speech. So when we are going to evaluate our speech, we should also understand where the speaker is coming from, the backdrop of the emotional connect. Now, where the speaker is coming from necessarily does not mean if he is coming from New York, like in the previous speech, or Kolkata, where I am, or Delhi, where some of you are. The emotional connect, or where the stories are coming from. Once we are linked or associated, or we understand the takeaway from the speech, evaluation will be more effective, because now we are in sync with the speakers. Also, at the same time, if I am connected to the speech and if I am delivering the evaluation like that, the audience who has listened to 7.5 minutes of a speech, you directly tap onto the subconscious of the audience, and you know that you are connected with them because you're not putting in any extra effort to connect. So how to do that, we're going to talk about it a little while later in the next subsequent slides. And also, while delivering feedback outside Toastmasters, if we can understand where the speaker is coming from and then provide evaluation or feedback to them, then that will help avoid conflicts. And also at the same time, it shows that I am understanding of your position and understanding of your situation. So whatever we learn or we take away in Toastmasters, we try and we utilize them in our daily lives as well. So evaluation is nothing different from that. The second part of the evaluation word is value. Now, none of us like when we do not get things which are not values worth, right? So do you like to pay 1,000 rupees for one pani puri, or we call it fuchka here? No, right? But you love the pani puri or the fuchka, many of you. Maybe due to COVID, we are restricting ourselves sometimes, but we love it. The same way, when an impact speaker has delivered the speech or the audience has invested time, we need to add value to the evaluation. We need to provide feedbacks which are very relevant to the speech, takes the speech, makes it better. We are empathizing with the speaker. We are not there to tell the speaker that these are the bad things about your speech. We are there to tell the speaker that these are the great things about your speech. Also tell the speaker that these things need to be worked on so that the great things become even greater. So that is what evaluation is. So add value by connecting to the emotional context of the speech or where the speaker is coming from. At is important because an evaluation in a session or a regular meeting is a little bit different from evaluations in a contest. We're going to come to that as well. The next part is I. It's your perspective as an evaluator that I am going to provide. So when you are the evaluator, when you are on stage as an evaluator, I am going to provide my perspective. I am not there to go out there on the stage and provide an evaluation wherein I say that I was sitting in the audience discussing with my friends and they felt that your speech had great voice modulation. Your friends can tell it to the speaker. When you are on stage, I'm interested to know your perspective. Why? In general life, when we are talking with someone, it always makes a difference when we are talking one-to-one and I share my perspective and say, bro, you do this and this will be great. Unless if I say that these things people do, sometimes we feel that, okay, why are you even comparing me with people? Why do I care? But the personal connect comes in when you are telling your perspective. So I is very important. The last thing is on. In a judges training, we often tell this, that if judge a speech and not the speaker. But at the same time, in an evaluation also, I say this, that we should evaluate the speech and not the speaker. So sometimes we are very amazed or inspired or interested in a speaker, and we know that this person is a great speaker. And when we have that in our mind, it is difficult for us at times to come up with recommendations. And that is not doing justice to the speaker who is delivering the speech expecting recommendations. And that is why the value is getting lost. And at the same time, we are going to also not do justice to ourselves, because if it is a contest and I am not able to provide recommendations, we're losing out on marks. So this on part of it is important. And also at the same time, in certain cases, we feel that, okay, this person is not someone who is an advanced speaker, or this person needs a lot of work. And when these things come into play, we try to come up with a lot of recommendations and not come up with a lot of commendations, right? So it is that is also unfair. So it is important to evaluate the speech and not the speaker, like it is important to judge the speech and not the speaker. Do not think about how good the speaker was, or how established or how advanced the speaker is, or where the speaker, what the speaker does, where the speaker works. All these things should not make an impact, and an evaluation will fall into place. So connect or understand where the speaker is coming from, adding value through that connection, and coming up with making things of worth, or doing things of worth, and making sure that the speech at hand, the great things are pointed out, and the things that can be worked upon are also pointed out. Where the evaluation is being posted, my perspective, and on the speech and not the speaker. These are the basic things that we're going to work on while we try to come up with an evaluation or present an evaluation in an evaluation contest, or rather any evaluation that we provide, or feedback that we provide to any individual within, outside Toastmasters. It really doesn't matter. So in today's discussions, we are going to talk about evaluation and the what is the basics of it, like what we discussed, differences of evaluations in regular meetings and contests, and the ballot, because we are going to talk about contests. The ballot is important. The evaluation ballot is very simple. You can once you see it once, you will remember it by heart. So there is no much difficulty in that. The emotional connects and mutual feelings are the basis of evaluation, and valuation or value addition is what we are going to expect. So emotions and values are what we're going to deal with primarily in an evaluation. But apart from these, there are different other aspects as well, which are the building stones or the corner blocks of an evaluation. The first is objectives. How many of you feel that a regular Toastmasters meeting speech have an objective? The pathway speech that is given. All of you? A lot of you, right? I see raise of hands in the pictures. Also, people can use the emoticons if you want. How many of you feel that a contest speech that is delivered has an objective that you need to evaluate? How many of you don't feel that a contest speech has an objective? So it's often said that a contest speech should not be evaluated as per any objectives, and contest speeches are generic in nature, like many of you raised your hands and pointed out, and that is absolutely correct. And a pathway speech in a Toastmasters, and previously when we had legacy educational track, so the legacy track as well, the speeches had specific objectives. Now in a session, the vast difference is that the specific most difference rather, the only difference in evaluation in a contest and evaluation in a session or a regular meeting is that of the objectives. Now in a Toastmasters regular meeting setup, it is important to understand, clarify, and confirm the objectives that we have. So in an evaluation, when we have the objectives, when I understand these, when I understand the objectives, my understanding of the objectives may be a little different from your understanding of the objectives. So as an evaluator, before a regular Toastmasters meeting, it is important that we talk to the speaker and we try to find out what are the expectations. Same way when we are doing a work out within and outside Toastmasters, it is good that when we are assigning or delegating or we are working together as a team, to have expectations set and clear from each other, that this is the expectation, so that we are not overlapping when we provide a feedback at the end of the day. So understanding the expectations or the objectives are important. It is also important to clarify and confirm them. So sometimes speakers can have restrictions. So when I was a very new Toastmasters, I witnessed an incident. So it was in my home club. And while I was sitting in the audience, one speaker, she was delivering a speech. She was an advanced speaker, and she had already been in the division contests a couple of times, finished in the podiums as well. And she was delivering a speech, and her hand movement was a little restricted that day. So the evaluator came and gave her a recommendation that since she's an advanced speaker, she should be using the hands more. Only at the end of the session did we find out that the speaker had a broken arm and she did not want to use the sling during the speech because that would have restricted or distracted the audience. So if as an evaluator, we understand, clarify, and confirm about the objectives before the speech, that, okay, are there any problems, challenges that you're facing as a speaker in a regular Toastmasters meeting, then because you know who the speaker will be that you will be evaluating, right? So once you can understand, clarify, and confirm these things, these odd situations or invalid feedbacks will not will help, because those feedbacks probably might not be in good spirit in the sense of the occasion. We do not know that the person's hand is broken, but then still we can always find out if you're putting in effort. And once we do that, the emotional connect that we are saying will help. And it helps even outside Toastmasters or within Toastmasters. In a team, it helps build the spirit of the team. Now, coming to the contest evaluations. Contest evaluation speeches do not have objectives. You do not know who the speaker is. They can speak on anything, and they can come and speak on everything that is there in front of them. But contest evaluations, I would recommend you to have in your mind set of objectives or parameters that you would like to evaluate on. So the year that I won the district finals, I had around 20 objectives in my mind, which I had in my mind when I sat down, when I evaluated the final speech. Why? Because sometimes we are so overwhelmed by the great thing the speaker is doing on the stage that we try to note it down, and some part of the speech is being passed away, and I miss the pointers. My brain is working hard to identify things which are good in the speech, which the speaker needs to improve on the recommendations, and I try to note it down. A lot of things happening, and we can miss pointers. Also, in the process, we lose enjoying the speech. And if we are losing enjoying the speech, I lose out on the connect with the speaker, and that will also help me understand or analyze the great things or the message, the takeaway, the impact of the speech. So having these objectives in our mind helps. Now, what can these objectives be? Like we just established, and many of the audience members pointed out that the objectives need to be generic in nature in a Toastmasters contest speeches, because there is no specific objective. So my objective, the speaker does not have any objective, but as an evaluator, I can have these objectives like voice modulation, differences of voice modulation between different characters, building up of characters, whether they were built up properly before they were explained. Like in a good story, they describe how the person was, how the person looks, how the person walks and talks. The stage movement, body language. I call something as body modulation, wherein the sync between the body language and the voice. Like sometimes people are very happy and they look like this, but very sad and look like this. So the body and the voice are not in sync. So that I call it body modulation. You can term it in your own way and come up with an evaluation for that. The stage distribution. So even if it is a virtual contest or virtual thing, the speeches are delivered like standing and speaking. So stage movements can be there. Now, stage movement on a virtual platform needs to be slower, needs to be more restricted than stage movement on a physical platform. So those can also come in if you're evaluating on a virtual stage. Usage of the camera. You can, like in a physical place, you can go near the front portion of the stage and approach the audience to ask a question. Here, you can simply look into the audience and ask a question or connect with them more properly, if that is being utilized or not. If the call for action or the message in the speech is clear, if the call for action is there, whether it was established that how we can achieve that call for action. And that can be one of the objectives. At the same time, we can talk about if any prop could have been used to enhance the speech. Pauses, of course, pauses and voice. The purpose of the speech is being met or not. So things like this. So simple things that are there in my mind as I sit down and I try to understand whether there was audience interaction. So in a physical setup and a virtual setup or a hybrid setup, the audience interaction will be a little different, right? Here I can ask you questions, but at the same time, maybe the reactions will be a little different than I asking questions. So here, all of you are very kind. Most of you are very kind and you have your cameras on and I can see your gestures and responses. But in certain cases, you will always see boxes and that becomes difficult. So the audience response or the audience interaction in physical and a virtual meeting will be different. So while we are delivering our evaluation or developing my evaluation speech in the 5 minutes that I have, I will need to consider them as well. So think of these objectives and keep them in your mind. How to come up with these objectives? By looking at speeches in YouTube, in TEDx app, in our regular meetings across the world, doesn't matter. Listen to a speech, see a movie where a speech is being delivered, look at news where a speech is being delivered, and point out things that are great the speaker is doing. And when you look at a similar kind of a speech, so if an inspirational speech is there, someone is doing great things with the speech, you remember the great things that you do, right, that they are doing. And when someone is delivering a similar inspiration, not similar speech, I mean similar genre of the speech, so inspirational speech, a humorous, emotional, kind of like that. So when they're delivering like that, you can see if the great things that speaker X has done, if those points are being done in speaker Y, or if some of them can be utilized in the context. These can be your objectives, that the good things that you see in a speech, or the parameters or the pointers that enhance the quality of the speech. And you can play around that. So you can, if someone is doing great, you can say these are the good commendations that you have given. And if someone is not doing great in certain of those fields, you can say that, okay, you can work on these things. And by watching 10, 12, 20, 30 speeches over time, not in one day, over time, when you look at some good speeches, and you will find out the good things. Why we are focusing on the good things? Because my objective, like as I said, that as an evaluator, is to ensure that the speaker improves the speech and they come out a better version of themselves, right? So I am not going to focus on the things that are lacking. I'm going to focus on the things that can improve the speech. And hence, what are the things that make a speech good is what I'm going to add to the speech, and not point out what are the things they're missing in the speech. It's basically the same thing, but just looking at it in the positive and the opposite of negative way. And that brings us to the recommendations, which forms the bulk of an evaluation. So from here, the evaluation in a contest and a regular meeting has no difference. Recommendations need to be positive, and the feedback has to be positive. We also need to point out where, when, and how in an evaluation. So recommendations, why it is going to be positive? Because like we discussed, is our objective is to ensure that the speaker finds a better version of themselves and they are confident enough to come back. Where, when, and how, because generic feedbacks do not work. If I come to the stage and say you need to work on your voice modulation, where do I fix it? As a first question that will come to me as a speaker. How do I fix it? And when do you want me to do that in the speech? So these are the things that I need to point out. For example, while we are talking about voice modulations, if I say that in your speech, you built up characters, but your voice modulation was all over the place, and you need to work on your voice modulation. Now, this is a recommendation. I'm talking, not telling the speaker to improve on the voice modulation, but this is a negative way of putting it. This is a negative feedback. The same feedback can be delivered in a positive way, and adding the where, when, and how, being specifics. And we can say that in your speech, you built up a lot of characters, and that made the speech more tangible to the audience. When these characters are interacting, if their voices are even distinct, that will help us identify the characters more and probably create a better impact on the audience. For example, this is the where part. When the old man and little child were talking, the old man could have sounded a little old and husky, and he could have sounded like, "Son, come here and sit down." While the young child could have talked a little softly and accepted that, saying, "Okay, now I will come in and sit down." And this would have enhanced the characters to the audience and brought in the story even more lively. So this is the same feedback that you are providing. You will be making it negative to positive, and you were adding specifics to the evaluation. So, or the specifics to the feedback that you are providing. And recommendations play a big role in our evaluation. Recommendations play a big role in the growth of an individual, but recommendations need to be positive, specific, and helpful. These are the three keywords mentioned on the judges' ballot as well. And we will come to that. Now, the most important part of an evaluation, not per the marks, but per everything else, is commendations. And there is, if you look at the judges' ballot, you will see there are no pointers or nothing mentioned which talks about commendations. But commendations are important because we are there to motivate the speaker. And motivate is mentioned 20 times on the judges' ballot, not 20 times. So these are mentioned a lot of times on the judges' ballot. So when you are providing commendations also, it helps people understand what are the things that they're doing all right. And that helps build confidence of the speaker. In an outside world as well, when I'm telling you recommendations, and I can also point out things that you're doing good, so that you feel that, okay, I'm in it with you, right? I'm not there to just denigrate you or badger you, but I'm there to support you grow. And for that, I need to make you feel comfortable. Commendations or positives in the speech to help play that part. Also, in an evaluation, while we are delivering a speech. Sometimes we are so involved with the speech that we miss out on things that are great. And we tend to think at times, looking at the same thing over and over again, even while discussing with our mentors, we are working on the same speech. And we feel, okay, this part of the speech is not adding value. Let's remove it, add something else that will add value. Let's do things differently. When you are providing an evaluation, you provide a third person of perspective, and you make sure that people understand that these are the things that are great in the speech, and that they do not need to exclude or remove. They need to keep it. That already makes their speech what their speech is. And that is what is about commendations. It motivates, it tells us what should be kept. And while you are presenting the commendations, you do not need to take up much time. You can just talk about how it is done. Just the example of where in the evaluation, even outside, people already know that they're how to do that because they're doing it. So you do not need to say. You just can go there and say that your body language was excellent when you were interacting with the audience. Your hands were confident. So you don't need to just say that your hands were like this and your hands were moving from here to here. While you were saying this and that, you don't need to drag it. People already have seen it. They have done it. They've done it great. The speaker knows that they have done it and how to do it. So you just go there and you say that your body language was great when you were talking about, say same scenario when the old man and the little child were interacting. The body language that you carried out, two people talking to each other, facing each other, that was amazing, and your hands were confidently moved. That's fine. That takes a little time. Everyone is knowing that, okay, this is good, and the speaker feels good that yeah, I've done that, and that's good. Same way outside Toastmasters as well. When you are providing feedback, provide the commendations. Very importantly. Now, after the commendations, the recommendations, the objectives are done, the fourth most important thing is the evaluation, and this is where the E of the evaluation comes in. That's what we started with, and this is what I start my evaluations with. Especially in a contest, is where you connect or point out the value addition in the speech. Now, every speech has a message that has been delivered. Now, once we understand where the speaker is coming from, or the emotion, or the context, or the connect, whatever the speaker is willing to establish or develop, I know the message in the speech. For example, the 2019 finals, where I was evaluating, the speaker that delivered the speech talked about how things were going good in his life. Then there was a mistake that the speaker did. Everything fell apart. And then he put in his effort, not giving up, picking those pieces up back in his life, and fixing his life altogether. And now at that point of time, it has brought a part of it together, and they're moving positively ahead. So the message in the speech was not to give up, and we may all make mistakes, but we should always take out our time to believe and then work ahead. So this was the message. And so the value addition was, this was the value that the speaker added to me. Now, the funny thing is, everyone in the audience, including the judges, have already watched or heard the speech. And they've spent 7.5 minutes listening to that. You only have 3.5, half the time the speaker has. Less than half the time the speaker has. So when you go into the speech and you say the first thing, that in your speech, I realize that this is what I do in my life and probably I'm going to fix it. Or this is what I do in my life already and I'm going to keep doing it because you inspired me to do this. This one line is tapping into the value that the speaker has already added. And because you're connecting to the emotional pool base the speaker has already created. So you're building up on the 7.5 minutes of connect the speaker has established with the audience. You're not building from scratch. Now, you cannot refer to any previous. So this is why Toastmasters International also has added this rule last year that even in an ISC contest, you cannot refer to a previous speaker's speech, because then you are capitalizing on their emotional connects, all the things that they have done to the audience. That feel, you're capitalizing on that, right? So when you watch a Yash Raj film, the music comes in from DDLJ, because they want you to remember that we made it, this was good, so you're going to love it. And the same thing you're doing on the speech, but you can refer to the speaker, of course, because you're evaluating the speaker. So in an evaluation speech contest, it is good to do that. Tap onto the emotional base, the E that we talked about in the speech. And that will add the value, and this will help you develop. And that can be the first thing that we do. Because if you do it later in the speech, it works, but then you are also putting in effort, and you've already put in effort to build in your connect with the audience. So if you want to capitalize, I say do it the first thing, and I love to do it as the first thing that we do. And the last thing that we would love to do is a motivate in the end. Now, if you look at the judges' ballot, it is something after the summary that we need to do, and there it has to be one line, and we need to motivate the speaker and tell them that, boss, you're doing a great job. You just need to work on this, and it'll be even better. And you can tail it in any way that you can. And it's just going to be one line, but this one line is very costly in a judge's ballot as well. It has around 5 to 7 marks, and a lot of people do not say this. We're going to come to the judge's ballot and show you how that 5 to 7 marks are coming in. So even in the finals of districts, if you're there, you will find that people who have gone through the club, area, division, semi-finals, finals, even at that level, half of them will miss out on this. That happens. So when in the 2019 finals, I was the speaker 7, and we had around 13 speakers that year. In the finals, 13, 14, I don't exactly remember the number. So when after the 7th speaker, when we were sitting there, so me and a few of my friends, we were sitting, and so one of the speakers came, delivered a great evaluation. At the end, did not motivate, and my friend looked at me and said, "Great, you were ahead because you gave a good evaluation. This person gave a good evaluation. Motivate did not do so. This person is going to lose out some marks." So that also made me realize that people are feeling happy about it, that they're not motivating. So when I am evaluating, or when my mentees or anyone is evaluating, I tell them after this every time that please do motivate in the end. One more thing that we can do, it's a little difficult at times. Luckily, I was able to do it on the 2019 finals day. I'm going to show you the video to explain. So whatever things I'm explaining, I'm going to show you the video, and you can have a look at what exactly happened. So relate with the value addition at the end. So you've already built the connect. You have started the speech from there. You're told that these are the great things that you are doing to improve these things that were there. At the end, after the summary, when you're motivated, you can always say that you are already believing in this message, and this is what I am believing in, and at the same time I want you to also keep believing in it and come back and do it once again. So like that speech also served or helped, because it was like keep doing things great. So it was like the evaluation, right? Things going good, some things went wrong, then fixing those things and taking life back on track. So that's what the evaluation is, a CRC. So it was good to relate it. So sometimes we can do related. If you can find out ways to relate it with the great thing or the message of the speech at the end, the motivation that you want to give, please feel free to do that. That helps wrap or complete. It feels complete. Your evaluation feels complete at the end of that. And like we do in our speeches, the intro and the conclusion, even in an IC or any keynote that we deliver, we want to connect or tie it together and present it to the audience. So that is important. But while you summarize, remember, do not add anything else. Summary is not about adding things. Oh, I missed telling the speaker did this great, or oh, I had to add another recommendation. Summary is not the place to do that. You have missed it. You have missed it. That is for the next day, next year, next decade. But after the stage delivering it to the speaker, everything is fine. Not in the summary. Summary is just few words. It's about you had a great voice modulation, body language, audience connect, call for action. And if you work on your character build up, stage distribution or stage choreography, usage of props, and explaining how we can achieve the call for action, your speech will be even better. That's it. Simple keywords. What were the things great? What were the things that needs working on? One line, and then you move to the motivate in the end. Utilize your time to have this sentence. And these two sentences have around 15 to 17 marks as well. So don't. So you can give one recommendation, you can get 10 points max. You give these 2 lines, you get 17 points. So you can cut off of one recommendation, but don't cut off on the summary and motivation at the end. And the last thing, when you've done everything in an evaluation, is to stand out and make a mark. why this is important. This is specifically important within and outside Toastmasters is fine. This is important because when you left a mark or made a mark, people remember that this was the feedback that was given to me. This person believed in me by telling these commendations. At the same time, when you are delivering an evaluation within Toastmasters in a speech contest, there are a lot of people delivering the evaluation. Like I said, in the finals, there were around 13 to 15 people. I don't even exactly remember the count. So even in the semifinals this year, you will have 11 people with you. In the finals, you will have 6 to 9 people with you. So when you are delivering with, even at your club level, you're going to have 20 people. The area and the division, the numbers might be a little lesser, but still you have 5 to 6 people or 7 people that you, depending on your area or your division, where you're coming from. If that will be there contesting, and you want to make the judges remember that, okay, this guy was good. You want to make the audience, you don't want to make the judges remember. That's a wrong way of putting it. You want to make the audience remember that this guy, the judges are already part of the audience. They are there and they are listening to the speech. How to do this? This has to do with the objectives. The first thing that we talked about while explaining the different parts of the speech. So for example, in the division contests that in 2019, I had to deliver a recommendation that the pauses in the speech were a little monotonous and could have been worked on and could be worked on. So now pauses is something which is very common as a recommendation. Everyone can identify if this is a pause, was repeating, and every one of the evaluators might come to the stage and say that you are repeating the pauses, and we will have to work it out. So I have to make it a little different. How to make it a little different? So when how to make it a little different? So while making it different, we can say that, so when the speaker was there, say the speaker was saying the sun rises in the east, the sun sets in the west. The speaker was using the pauses repeatedly. So I can say that, I say that your voice to pause graph was a little monotonous. For example, the sun, pause, rises in, pause, the east, la la, pause, la la, pause, la la. Now if we place, now pauses make music, and if we place the pause before the object and make the people wonder that, okay, this is how the speaker is going to speak, or speak audience wonders that, okay, what exactly the speaker is going to do, and that connects better with the audience and it makes it more impactful. And then the sentence can be said as the sun rises in the east, the sun sets in the west. Now the pauses are good, and now plot it again to the voice sound graph, and it sounds like la la la, pause, la la, la la la, pause, la la. So now the music is created. So it's the same way. So now when you know the objectives that you have in your mind, that these are the 20 things I'm going to see, you can take out 4 or 5 things and think how I can do these 4 or 5 things differently before the speech. So when you get that one point in your speech, you know, I'm going to put it here. So in the finals, the speaker did not have a problem with this. So I had another thing, that usage of props that we can do. So this is more or less about the evaluation, and this is the judges ballot that we have. This is the last thing. This is the analytical ability is 40% of marks. The recommendations is 30% of marks. The technique is 15%, and the summation is 15%. So be sympathetic, sensitive, and motivational, encouraging all over the place here. Helpful, positive, specific recommendations, why they're important, we discussed, that is 30% of marks. We need to analyze clearly and be focused. So if you're using a theme, if you are using an analogy, use them well, and that comes into the analytical ability. That's not mandatory. People have won finals without using themes, proper CRC. I use a theme. Some of my mentees have used themes, and we have come first and second in the district as well. So it differs from the speaker to speaker. The last one that we said, the encouraging at the end. So 15%, around 7 years, there's motivational here. So these two, that last line itself has like around 7 to 10 marks with these two things coming into picture. So this is more or less all about the evaluation. The last thing I would like to say is how to split up the time. So 3 recommendations people recommend. I use 4. And people like me love to talk a lot, which you have already realized. So as a result of which I love to have time slices in my contest speeches. So the first thing that I'm doing is connecting to the emotional connect, that may be, and greeting everyone. So I reduce it down and I say greetings everyone. Toastmaster Kanika. May it be Kanika is the test speaker. So when I'm saying this, I'm covering everything takes around 10 to 15 seconds. Now I move on to the connect, the introduction, 15 seconds. Then the commendations. Each of the commendations around 10 to 15 seconds can be taken. 4 commendations. So 1 minute 10 seconds. Take 1 minute 10 seconds. The commendations are done. After that, recommendations. 4 recommendations. The first 2 I can take a little longer, say 25 seconds each, 50 seconds, 2 minutes. And then the other 2 a little shorter, maybe 15 to 20 seconds, 2 minutes, 40 seconds, everything is done. Then the summary and the motivating at the end is left. In the next seconds, I can do that. And I have a 30-second buffer because we are human beings and we will not be robots. That if I say 20 seconds, it will be 20 seconds. So this is more or less about the evaluation that I understand. I'm going to put the link of the evaluation video I was talking about in the Zoom chat. Maybe you can have a look at it later. And I am, that is more or less about it. If you have any questions now, you can put in the chat. We can continue with the session. I guess I did not see the Zoom chat. I saw it now and realized that I've talked a lot. I'm sorry for that. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the Zoom chat. I'll keep on responding to them. And also you can reach out to me afterwards through Kanika, Mohit, Toastmaster Sanjeev, the division directors, area directors, and the ADP. And they do definitely have my number also. Some of you will have my number. You can ping me and ask me the questions. So thank you very much for having me and tolerating me more than the red flag, which I missed. And thank you very much. Over to you, Toastmaster Kanika.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik. So if anyone is having any questions, you can either drop it in the chat box or you can send it to me, Toastmaster Mohit, Toastmaster Sanjeev, and if you have the number, you can send in the questions directly. And any questions, I mean, shorter things that you want to ask or if anyone wants to say, can please move ahead. You have time 1 to 2 minutes. Yes, Toastmaster Dityendu, please. You are on mute, I believe. No, you're not audible. I think yes. Earlier you. Okay, you say it afterwards. Okay, cool. So anyone else who wants to come up and say anything? No. Okay, so firstly, I would like to thank distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik for coming up and helping us learn what all about evaluation, and this will definitely be helping us in the contest further. And now I would request our president, Toastmaster Mohinish, to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kanika. And I think the evaluation module was very helpful to all of us. And no doubt evaluations are a way for us to provide more and more value to the speaker. And this is why we speakers come here to take feedback and to implement it and improve ourselves. So I thank from the bottom of my heart distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik Bhattacharya to take the time out of his busy schedule and deliver a wonderful guiding us so much. And thanks for that. And back to you, Toastmaster Kanika.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohinish. So firstly, I would ask everyone, do you need a 2 minutes break because we are running short of time? So I want to ask everyone, do you need break of 2 minutes? Yes or no? You can unmute, and you know when it's a session, everyone can unmute and speak.
We can continue.
Yeah, I think we can continue.
Okay.
It's already 12:17.
Great, great, great. Okay, so cutting my a little bit shorter. So as the theme is, you have already gone through the theme. So I want to ask any of you who has been thinking of developing the habit and has gone through certain videos and the 18 that you have, that you can do it in 18 days, do that habit regularly for 18 days or 21 days. Any one of you who have tried it? Okay. And have you able to maintain it till now? No. No, a no from Diptendu and a yes from Toastmaster Shweta. Okay, so Toastmaster Shweta, now how have you been able to continue those habits till now? I want to ask from you.
Yes, I was. I cannot say how many days I actually started with. I means I cannot count that thing, but that habit is going on until now. I think subconsciously it has become a part of me now, I would say.
Great. And if Toastmaster Diptendu can unmute and speak. No, you're not audible. Shit. It's okay. Okay, so anyone else who's tried to develop that habit and follow the 21 days or 18 days rule?
I just want to add here that I sometimes I try with these things, but I quit ending approximately within a week or within 10 days. So I don't know how to go with the flow. I really want to learn this thing from Shweta.
Okay, okay, wonderful. So there have been many theories, and I have also been reading it because since I am also procrastinator kind of a person, so I have also been reading books. I have seen certain videos how to overcome this habit, and now there is a book, Atomic Habits. I'm going to read that as well. But the thing that helped me go through it was that I first tried down by starting 21 days thing, that do one habit for 21 days and you'll be able to make it your habit for a lifetime, but that didn't apply to me. So after that, a lot of research, what the end result was that by the time that habit you really want to inculcate in your life, and you have it from the core of your heart that I want to do it, you can't do it. Do it for 18 days, 265 days, 66 days, 21 days. You will not be able to by the time you really want to do it. And if you really want to do it, you will not see or you will not count the number of days. You will start it from today itself, from after the meeting. You will go, you will plan at what time you will be doing it. Do it for 15 minutes, 10 minutes. When I started reading book, I was very shocked that I was not able to maintain it, because in the morning when I travel to my office in metro, I read sometimes the book, and I did it for continuously 21 days, skipped in between a day or two, but for 21 days I did it, and then I was not able to continue. But something motivated me in the last 2 weeks, and I actually completed one particular book of 300 pages in 1 week, because I wanted to do that from the core of my heart. And that is the only thing that you can do if you want to develop any habit. After the meeting, go pen down what you really want to achieve and just start doing it. Don't check the number of days. Just start doing it. And please don't take very big goals. Just divide it into small portions, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and you'll be able to maintain that habit. It's just that you need to do it from the core of your heart. So yes, thank you so much. This was all about how many days it takes, but it doesn't take more days. It takes your willpower to do it. So now please help me welcome. It's time for the third section of the day. That's the journal evaluation section. So please help me welcome Madam GE Toastmaster Shweta onto the virtual stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, TM Kanika. And what a beautiful theme you have brought it. I loved it thoroughly. And now first, let's move to the first section of the general evaluation, which is like evaluations of the prepared speeches. So the first speech was by Toastmaster Mohit, and I loved the poem, by the way. It was amazing, and the way you delivered it, I loved it. So much to learn from you, sir. So I would hand over the virtual stage to Toastmaster Vishal for providing the evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shweta. So I will start with, a speech should be like a woman's skirt, long enough to cover the subject matter, but also short enough to hold the audience attention. Mohit started the speech with overloaded confidence. The anecdotal story he related with his topic of the company merger was outstanding. The clarity he has for the topic was right from the beginning. He knew where to start from and where to end. Although the impromptu speeches has some challenges from starting to the end, but he handled it so beautifully, just like he leveraged his company with a handsome amount of money. His vocal variety, like tone, speed, volume, was very much taken care by, like an audio system. Some tips to improve on speaker was not aware of the timings. I urge you, please check all the logistics with the timer beforehand so that you start the speech, so that the speech will not hamper in between, because timing plays a very important role. Apart from that, we know that we are on a virtual stage, but a little bit of movement from here to there will help you to conquer more, and that will give you your speech a more weightage. I'll talk about now your second speech. You was in the sync with the topic. Your character Sam Cathon. How you knitted the story around the Sam Cathon character was like an anecdote. Mohit was so well prepared with his impromptu speeches. He was totally into the character, but I would say not only into the character, but he was one of them, I feel. His hand gestures were very up to the mark. Eye contact was there in the place. And it is really very important to convey the emotions and how audience react so that it could be a two-way process. And you did it wonderfully well. You shared a wonderful comfort level with the audience. And once you do so, that helps you make your speech more brighter. Apart from that, the icing on the cake was your poem. I liked the way you connected the topic with your poem. That is a sign of a very polished speaker. The poem itself was so enlightening and so engaging that I want to hear it once more, maybe afterwards. You have completely done a justice with your impromptu speech. Just want to say my last words. Words are the most powerful drug used by the humanity, and you made me intoxicated. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster, ma'am.
Thank you for the evaluation, Toastmaster Vishal. Moving on, for the second speech, that was Toastmaster's Rohan's speech, I would like to call upon on virtual stage Toastmaster Mohinish to kindly provide the feedback and the evaluation.
Before that, can someone tell me when the 2 minutes are up?
I'll do so. I'm doing it. No worries.
Okay, just you can do it in the chat.
Yeah, works.
Okay, let me start. Toastmaster Rohan, what a wonderful speech. I loved your message, and thank you for reminding us the core power that runs the world. And thank you so much for delivering a wonderful speech. I noticed that you started interacting with the audience right off the bat, and this is just a wonderful way for any speaker to get the conversation going with the audience. And you not just interacted with one person or two people, you interacted with many people and you call them by name. So sometimes what speakers do is they just throw a random questions and then they wait for the answer. Instead, you went ahead and you asked the names and directly from the people. And then I noticed that you have a great humor streak inside you, and I'll tell you why. And before that, you were using hand gestures, and I noticed that you were making a fist, but somehow that fist was not visible. Since we are on the virtual platform, you have to try look into the camera. Is your fist visible? Maybe if you want to make a strong point, that make that fist visible to the audience, and that I'm sure that gestures will help you make deliver that message even more powerfully. And your content was totally relevant with the present times. But somewhere, I don't know, maybe I missed, I think you could have added how women are powerful biologically, because if you know that women are also powerful biologically, also they have greater immune system. So maybe I missed that, or maybe you said it, or I ignored it. Anyways, the confidence and your voice modulation, I can see the green shoots coming up. And from the last speech to this speech, I can see so much effort being put into by you. And in the last speech, you delivered word for word, and you just said the whole speech, reading through the verbatim. And in this today's speech, I think you delivered. You had some bullet points, and then you read some of it, and then you delivered some part of the speech, which I think is a very much good improvement. But I would highly recommend you to mug up that speech and deliver it from your own thoughts, your own words. And some suggestions would be to use more of your personality, more of your jokes. You have that kind of sense of humor. So instead of saying no offense to men, you could have said, yeah, go ahead, take offense. Women are still the best. So maybe some sort of that personality you could have definitely shown. And I mean, with a smile, it looks okay. So in summary, interact with the audience, wonderful. Start a conversation, use humor, and remember to use more of your gesture, use stage, and when representing power, feel the power, be the power. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monish, for the wonderful evaluation. And moving on for the third speech, that was Toastmaster Diptendu's speech. I would like to call upon Toastmaster Sanjeev for providing the evaluation, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shweta. Okay, regarding Toastmaster Diptendu's speech, it's often said that a great story often leaves many questions unanswered with the audience rather than answering everything. Because that way, the story lives much longer in the minds of the audience, and that's what the intent is. Story lives in the minds, not everywhere else. Toastmaster Diptendu delivered a great suspense story based on personalities of two individuals, Rahul and Rohan. One of the best part about his storytelling was he narrated the characteristics or the personalities of these two individuals in such a great way that it was sort of live in the minds of audience. They could understand what these two guys are about. Like Rohan was a great observer, not maybe intending to eat in a restaurant where he doesn't feel like. Rahul was a very open person and a great risk taker. So the narration of these two individuals was really great, and audience could visualize these two characters in their mind. Next best thing that I liked about the story was that when these two different characters met in a New York cafe and they started discussing about their life, audience were on their hook, thinking, okay, what's going to come next? What are they discussing? What's the end? So this way, he was able to create a suspense and a interest in the audience, so that they were glued to the story. And the cherry on the top was introducing the character Jennifer, or the Jen, which was a common, I'll say, common personality, wife for one and friend for other. So that really added a twist and the suspense. Okay, what's now going to happen? So this kind of a narration with a suspense, and then he left with an open question. This is what is this what honesty is about? So that left with in the minds of audience an open question to judge who was right, who was wrong. Luckily, I had also watched this movie Chehere just 2 days back, and I could exactly relate what he was trying to say. However, there were some points where I'll say Toastmaster Deeptendu could have done better. Like the story dragged a bit long towards in the initial, and people who probably had not watched Chehere could not have related it. So this narration could have been shorted, and the climax or the ending part could have been little bit more elaborate, so that audience could have understood what exactly was the message or what exactly is he going to say. Overall, I'll say it was a great suspense thriller, fully met the objectives of the speech and kept audience on the hook, leaving them with an open question, which was a great ending, I'll say, on honesty. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Shweta.
Thank you, TM Sanjeev, for the evaluation. Moving on, we will be doing the evaluation by the tag team. So first, I would like to invite on virtual stage the timer of the day, TM Moinish.
Okay, so everyone was qualified today except Toastmaster Deeptendu. He took 7 minutes 40 seconds, so just a gap of 10 minutes. He missed it. Anyways, the time taken by Toastmaster Mohit in his first speech is 2 minutes 10 seconds, and in the next speech 3 minutes 3 seconds. And Toastmaster Rohan took 5 minutes 50 seconds. And then coming to the evaluators, Toastmaster Vishal took 2 minutes 42 seconds. I didn't noted my own, but Kanika said I'm qualified. And Toastmaster Sanjeev took exactly 3 minutes. Thanks, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you for the detailed report, TM Moinish. Now moving on to the AHA counter, TM Kuljit, can you please provide the report, please?
Yes, Toastmaster Shweta. So, well, everyone have been amazing in their speeches and in their roles. So first of all, I might have missed some of the parts in between, because I think I got some, internet connection error during in between, and saying somebody's, may have, fixed their internet connection out there. So, well, still I have prepared my report. So start with Toastmaster Chetan, 1 time. Toastmaster Mohinish, 1 time. Toastmaster Kanika, 2 times. And 5 times. Toastmaster Shweta, 2 times. And AH counter Kuljit, me, I use 1 time and 2 times. Lakshit, use 2 times. Prepared speeches Mohit, Toastmaster Mohit, 1 time, 1 time. Toastmaster Vishal, 1 time. Toastmaster Rohan, 3 times, 2 times, and never ever word used twice. Sanjeev, 3 times, 3 times. And here I somehow managed to find for DTM Kaushik, 1 time, 1 time. PTM Dikshant, 1 time, 1 time. PTM Charu, 1 time. PTM Rahul, 4 times, 2 times. And PTM Ashish, 1 times and 1 times. PTM Mumtaz, 1 time. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, TM Kuljit, for the detailed report. And moving on to the grammarian of the day, that is TM Lakshit. Kindly come on virtual stage and give the evaluation.
Thank you, TM Shweta. As a grammarian, I would like to present my report. Well, nobody used the word of the day. That made me feel like I should have taken or gone with a more easier word in terms of pronunciation. So it could have been memorable for the audience so that they could have used. So I actually want to ask TM Shweta, TM Mohinish, was that really the case? The word that I presented
I
was
think
little
it
hard.
was used by TM Rohan in his speech. Maybe you got disconnected in between and you couldn't find out, but it was used by TM Rohan in the speech.
Yeah,
I must have missed it.
Yeah.
So, well, for other speakers and the guests, I hope you all remember this word and use it in the future meetings. This word will be very unique to your addition to your vocabulary. And about the speeches, for TM Mohini, I have no suggestions because it was a good speech. But for TM Rohan, I would like to point out that the rhythm in sentences, like the where to pause, there were many pauses. So due to those pauses, the rhythm of the sentences fall short a little. So I would like to suggest it would be more better if you could remember the speech to reduce those unnecessary gaps, or any other way you find comfortable to create little more rhythm in the sentences. And for TM Dipendu, I have no suggestions. As we all know, the speech was very well prepared, and in his speech he used many words. It was well structured. Words like conviction, poisonous, diligent, perseverance, observant, full-fledged, accusation, exclusive, culprit. It was very well framed. Sentences was very well framed, and it has a rhythm to it. The sentences. You can't say so. Overall, it made the speech memorable. So it was well done. That's it from my part. Back to you, TM Shweta.
Thank you, TM Lakshit, for providing the report. And now moving on to the general evaluation of the meeting. For starting with the Toastmaster of the day, Kanika, I know there was a lot of time constraints, but she tried her level best with the beautiful theme she got to engage us as much as she can. And the meeting started a little bit late due to some little bit glitches, but we will because of that only it is going on until now. So, and secondly, we are very I feel literally my honor to actually have this evaluation session by DTM Kaushik Bhattacharya. I'm sure we all have learned a lot, even the experienced Toastmasters or the new Toastmasters like me or the guests, that how to actually evaluate, So that was beautiful. Thank you for giving such amazing session to us, sir. And taking out time from your busy schedule and giving so much of knowledge from your knowledge bank to get into our knowledge bank. Thank you. And I'm sure we will be using this as beautifully written by TM Kanika, not only in meetings, but also in our daily lives. Moving on, if I talk about the tag team, the timer and all three of them gave their reports wonderfully. They tried their best to talk about all the speeches, all the speakers, whoever spoke in the meeting, which was wonderful. And yes, so all in all, it was a beautiful meeting. Just little bit of the time constraint that we can take care of from the next meeting, starting our meeting on time and ending on time. And but I will hand over the stage now to our president of the club to carry on with the votings. And thank you.
Toastmaster Kanika, are you left with the theme?
No, actually, due to time constraints, we have decided to move on further, so we can have the votings for now, and you can continue. I mean, take over the stage.
Okay, I'm launching the poll for best evaluator. Please vote. Sorry. I think there is some mistake. Just a second.
PM Sanjeev
So,
is.
yeah.
Kanika, can you just take a guest feedback? Meanwhile, I'll edit the polls.
So you make me the host. I'll do the voting part, and you just take the feedback.
Okay, give me a second. You are co-host.
No, actually, but I will not be able to do, I think, the polling part.
Okay. I'll make you the host then.
Yes.
Okay, I made you the host.
Yeah. You can please continue, and I'll do the voting.
Okay then. And good afternoon, everyone. And what a wonderful meeting it was. Definitely a learning experience for all of us. And special thanks to DTM Kaushik Bhattacharya for delivering an awesome, valuable uh, workshop for all of us. And I'm sure we will improve a lot. Meanwhile, I think we have a few guests here. We'll take feedback from them. Potential Toastmaster Mumtaz, are you there? Okay, potential Toastmaster Charu. So I think Mumtaz is there.
Yes, I'm there. Yeah. Yeah, it was a great learning experience for me. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a second time I'm attending this club meetings. Especially, I learned a lot regarding the evaluation part. Since I'm from a training background, I'm sure that I'm going to use it, and in my training sessions, and it's going to be make a difference the way I evaluate my trainings sessions. And yeah, I learned a lot of new words, and the way that the speeches has to be performed. So a lot of things I've learned, and it's definitely added value today. And also I'm going to watch the movie. I'm very much inspired. So that is something, a task of my day today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Potential Toastmaster Charu, are you there?
Yes, so am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, so I really liked the meeting. This was my first time attending the Toastmaster meeting, and all the speeches were great. And my reason for joining the Toastmaster was basically as I will be starting, I'm changing my profile. So on Monday is my date of joining. And so I need to present a lot. I will be in lots of calls. So I think that it is really important for me to improve my speaking skills. And so I think it will help me a lot. And also the evaluation session, which was delivered by Kaushik sir, it was great. And I'm waiting to watch that video link that he has shared. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, potential Toastmaster Charu. I'm sure you will learn a lot. And if you join us, you can join us and you can talk to Toastmaster Harpreet or Toastmaster Shweta, or you can talk to me. And you can write your number on the Zoom chat. Or maybe I have your number. Maybe we can talk to you later on.
Yeah, I will ping you personally. Yeah.
Okay, definitely. So, Toastmaster Kanika, is the poll ready?
Toastmaster Munish, actually you need to edit it due to I don't know certain reasons I'm unable to edit. So I will be launching poll for now. You can edit for best evaluator. I'll be launching the poll for best role player for now. Okay, so I would request everyone to please vote for the best role player. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. So I would request everyone to please vote for the best auxiliary role player. Okay, so now I would request everyone to please vote for best evaluator. Okay, thank you so much everyone for voting. And Toastmaster Mohinish, please check your WhatsApp. I've sent you everything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Kanika, for saving us here. And let's hear it from our guests also and from old members. I think we still have Rahul. Rahul, are you there?
Yes, Manish. Yes.
Yeah, please share how was the meeting and your experience with us.
Okay. I think as always, I enjoyed all the meetings of TMW Club. It is always, I think, great to hear the speeches from Toastmaster Mohit and Toastmasters Jitendu. I think great speeches by them, and they are the experienced ones. So I think they are like, I would say, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma of TMWD. And I like the speech by Toastmaster Chetan as well, on how strong a woman are and what other things a woman can do. And loved the special session by distinguished Toastmaster TM Kaushik as well, about how we can do the evaluation. And I think understanding the objectives for the speaker, it is important, so that I think you can avoid any invalid feedback. So that is what a learning for me from this. And I think it holds true in our personal and professional life as well, because sometimes we give feedback without knowing why the person has done something in a different way. So great learning from that session as well. And I think everything was good. I just feel that when with one meeting, you learn so much. I attended one meeting today. I'm going to start from today. And if you attend 52 meetings in a year and participate in a different roles, do learnings, prepare for those roles, so I'm sure you're going to learn a lot with everything with Toastmasters, TMW, Toastmasters West Delhi Club. So yeah, overall everything was good, and I enjoyed the meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rahul. I'm sure we would see you more often. And let's move on to the winners. I think all the guests are done. I'm not missing anyone. Okay, yes, all the guests are done. So let's move on to the winner. And winner for today's meeting, best evaluator. Best evaluator for today. Any guesses?
Vishal.
Toastmaster Vishal. Toastmaster Sanjeev.
Yes. So the best evaluator for today's meeting is none other than our champion Toastmaster Vishal. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you so very much.
And best auxiliary role player.
It's a tie.
How do you know?
Because the result was coming in on my screen.
Okay. So it's a tie between Toastmaster
Lakshit and Toastmaster Kuljit.
तुम ही कर लो तुम ही कर लो तुम ही कर लो
So you are only asking, so I'm just prompting.
Okay. Maybe everyone wants to get up with it as soon as possible. So the best role player is Toastmaster
Kanika.
Congratulations, Kanika. And the best speaker, finally the best speaker,
Mohit sir.
Yep, congratulations, Mohit sir. And wonderful meeting everyone. And I would like to thank all the role players and special myself. I think I deserve 200 rupees voucher for taking up the role at the last moment. And yep, thanks everyone for being here at this time. And I'm sure we are still learning how to hold better and better meetings. And so the next meeting would be offline. I think it would be at the same place, Janakpuri, and would love to see all of you live in person. So goodbye, and we'll stay for chit chat if you want. We can stay.
It will be hybrid, not offline only. It will be hybrid.
Yes. Thanks for reminding. Thanks for the reminder. It's going to be hybrid.
Sir, she is the next candidate in line.
Jitendu, you're not audible.
You are not audible. Now up.
Yes, sir, was after the session.
Hello? Yes, you
Now
are.
you're audible.
No, Zoom has been playing games with me. एक दिन